Hey guys, it's Mike. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, or so companies would have you believe. It's October. In case you're watching this from the future, it is October, late October, granted, but companies are already rolling out Christmas decorations and Christmas music. So today I'd like to talk to you about the commercialization of holidays. This was suggested by a friend. I solicited it. I asked, hey, do you have a suggestion for a topic? And this is what was suggested. I forgot to ask for permission to mention them by name. I did send them a text, but they didn't respond. So I'm just going to leave it at a friend. Um, Now, their original suggestion was why companies are already playing Christmas music, but I decided to broaden it a little bit and just commercialization of Christmas in general, or commercialization of holidays in general, pardon me. Now, I plan on eventually talking about certain types of music regarding this. So I'm actually going to make two versions of this video, one with music and one without. Because I know YouTube gets sometimes a little bit finicky when it comes to like copyright and are you allowed to have music in your video or not. So just in case they have issues with me putting the music in this video, I'm going to make a second version without the music in case that ever needs to be a thing. So if you're watching the version without music, you may notice me pause slightly, or you may notice a cut after I mention a type of music, and that's just where I would have inserted the music in the version that has music. If you are if you are watching the version with the music, you'll get the music. So yay! Uh, but yeah, commercialization of holidays. So I'm going to start by talking about my opinions on holidays in general. For me, what's important about holidays is spending time with family and friends. Most of the time, I don't care what the holidays are actually celebrating. Halloween, All Hallows Eve, right? Sure, there's all this history and backstory and why do we go trick or treating and yada yada yada. That's most of the time not what's important to me. What the holidays that really matter to me are the holidays where you take time and you spend them with family, either having like a turkey dinner on Thanksgiving or whatever, counting down the clock on New Year's Eve. I don't that time with family is what matters to me, not the actual event itself, usually. So for things like Labor Day, I appreciate the extra pay or the paid day off. Um, I don't care about anything else, to be perfectly honest. I think, but I mean, I'll be like first in line to yell and scream if they ever try and take away holidays. Because I think it is important to have those periods of rest throughout the year, right? If you just have people working nonstop, yada, 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 it's going to lead to an unhappy populace or an unhappy workforce or what have you. So I think holidays are necessary, but I think they're necessary because of the, not necessarily for the thing they're intended to be celebrated. Now, obviously, there are some rare exceptions. Remembrance Day, November 11th. From what I understand, I think it's got a few different names around the world, but in Canada, it's Remembrance Days. In Canada, it's Remembrance Day. Um, taking the time to remember the sacrifices given in world wars. Um, there's a reason those wars were fought. There's a reason we try and remember and never let it be forgotten, so that way we don't ever have to do those again. Um, Things like that I think are very important. Um, but at the same time, you don't need a special day just to remember the sacrifices given by soldiers in the world wars, or any war, really. Um, so, now that we've passed that topic. That's my thoughts on holidays. Spending time with family and friends, that's what's important. That's why birthdays matter to me, right? I don't care what the number is. To me, a birthday is a celebration of a year of experience with those in your life. It's a time for you to celebrate and remember everything you and your friends and your family have done over the last year. Remember the time and the experiences that you guys shared. Um, birthdays are that's why I value them. Anyway, I don't. To me, like when I have a birthday celebration, it's not about me. It's about you guys. Actually, to be perfectly honest, I'm just a reason to celebrate it. Um, so, having said that, what about the commercialization of holidays? There's some holidays that are just blatantly corporate. Valentine's Day is a prime example of this. I doubt many people actually know the story of Saint Valentine's. To be perfectly honest, I don't know it. Um, but yeah, Valentine's Day is intended to celebrate Saint Valentine. What's Saint Valentine famous for? I don't know. But it has been turned into anything but a holiday for a saint for the sake of commercialization. Hey, here's a day that you have to spend money on flowers and chocolate or cards or what have you. If I am ever in a relationship, not if I am ever, if I'm in a relationship when Valentine's Day rolls around, I'll use it as an excuse to go all out and extravagant and, buy fancy presents and do fancy things. But I don't need a day to do that. I'll do that anytime. I mean, those of you who know me know I kind of like giving gifts every now and again. But I don't like to be predictable about it. I like to just do it because. Um, but anyway, so yeah, I mean, I'll use it as an excuse to show my affection or to give a fancy gift or whatever. But I don't need a day to do that. Sometimes I'll do that. Why? Because it's Tuesday. No other reason. It's Tuesday, and I felt like it. So, actually, from what I understand, and in Japan, there's actually two. Valentine's Day, and I think it's called White Day. And the idea was, and actually, this is actually a really cool idea, was equality. Um, Valentine's Day was a day for guys to get fancy gifts and do nice things for their girlfriends or wives or fiancés or whatever. And White Day happens a month later, I think on March 14th. And it's the opposite. It's a day for girls to give gifts and do nice things and what have you to their boyfriends or husbands or fiancés. I don't know, it was kind of a cool idea. It's just like, well, if we're going to commercialize this, might as well commercialize it and be fair about it. I don't know. I like that idea actually. I thought it was kind of clever. um, but anyway, so given that some holidays are blatantly corporate, other ones have a bit more significance. Like I said, Remembrance Day being a prime example. Some of which are religiously based, others are not. Some are like civic holiday is. I mean, how much more bureaucratic can you get with a name than civic holiday? But anyway, so for the holidays for which there are special proceedings, like special decorations or special traditions that are culturally prominent, whether, for the sake of example, Christmas is typically a Christian holiday. I mean, it's got influences from all over the place. I mean, the whole tree thing was, I think, German pagan, or I actually no, I shouldn't say that because I don't know for sure. I think it comes from somewhere in Germany and is definitely not of Christian origin, but I don't remember exactly where it comes from, but it was integrated into the Christmas holiday, and yada yada yada. Um, and I mean the date itself. I'm not here to start fights. I just, as it is right now, it is something which is very associated with Christianity. Whether that's where it started or not is not something I'm going to get into. Regardless of the fact that it is like religiously tied, it is culturally prevalent. I mean, if I work in retail, if I say Merry Christmas, I'm not trying to, put a war on whatever other religions are out there. Like I'm not, uh, Jews don't celebrate Christmas; they have Hanukkah, and like, no, that's all I'm doing is wishing you well. I hope you have a good day. I hope good things happen to you. I hope you are well. If you're going to be offended by that, then you are a sad and pathetic human being. I'm sorry, but you are. I mean, all I'm doing is sending you well wishes. By the same token, if I say happy holidays, I'm not initiating a war on Christmas by refusing to say it. I'm just saying happy holidays. I hope you are happy. So, what about the company perspective? When should companies be allowed, per se, to start playing Christmas music or putting up Christmas ornaments or what have you? This is something that varies from person to person. Um, I have one of two possible circumstances. First one, after the holiday before it. So, for example, in Canada, Christmas is the statutory holiday in December. The statutory holiday in November is Remembrance Day. And in October, it's Thanksgiving. So companies can start playing Christmas music, they can put Christmas decorations up, they can start promoting Christmas to their heart's content after Remembrance Day. On November 12th, you can put up all the Christmas stuff you want. I don't care because there's no major holidays or no major events in between Remembrance Day and Christmas. It is the next thing to look forward to. In certain circumstances, however, that doesn't apply. For example, in the US, Thanksgiving is, I think, the third Thursday of November, and Black Friday is the day immediately after. The reason Black Friday is a thing is because now that Thanksgiving has passed, you can actually start doing Christmas shopping and admit that it's Christmas shopping without feeling shame that you're doing Christmas shopping months in advance or anything like that. So it is a major shopping day for the American public because now that Thanksgiving's over, they can look towards Christmas, and companies have really embraced and fueled that, sometimes actually to a dangerous extent. Um, but anyway, so in that particular case, what about Thanksgiving? When do you put Thanksgiving stuff up? Well, the holiday before that is Remembrance Day, which is November 11th. November 11th, pretty much middle of November to third Thursday in November, doesn't really give you a lot of time to be putting up turkeys and, pilgrim hats and what have you, right? So that brings in my second condition, is 30 days before, 1 month before. Whichever one comes first, it doesn't really matter to me. The After the holiday immediately before, or 30 days slash 1 month before, that's when it's okay to start putting up holiday decorations or playing holiday music, like Christmas music or things like that. So in this, because in Canada Thanksgiving is October, but in the States Thanksgiving is in November. So um, in Canada, I'm okay with you putting up your Christmas stuff on November 12th. In the States, 1 month before Christmas or the day after Thanksgiving, whichever one comes first, I'm okay with you doing either one. That's my personal take on it, and I realize not everybody will agree. But when you're going to exploit a holiday for commercial purposes, which, I mean, let's be honest, that's what it is, regardless of the spirit of the holidays or whatever, the only incentive a company has to put up holiday decorations is because it encourages customers and therefore increases profits. I mean, when you get right down to it, it's an exploitation no matter which way you slice it. So that's when I say you can exploit a holiday, is after the one immediately before or 1 month/30 days. Now, having said that, that does not mean I'm opposed to Christmas music year round. I enjoy Christmas music. I listen to a lot of, well, not a lot, but I do. I listen to Christmas music year round. I don't care if it's July or May or February or October. There's a band in particular that I really really love called Trans-Siberian Orchestra. They're not actually an orchestra, and they're not actually from Siberia. They're an American band that just goes by Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Now, this is the part where I'm going to be playing music and creating two different versions, so FYI. Most people know Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Even if they don't know the name of the band, most people have heard their song Wizards in Winter. Sometimes people go a little bit beyond Wizards in Winter and look at some of their other stuff. Sometimes that's as far as they go. Where Trans-Siberian Orchestra really took off was covering with kind of a new electronic metal flavor, classic traditional Christmas music. Like Jingle Bells. And then after they got started doing that, then they started doing some of their original compositions.
There is an ornament lost inside the night. There on a Christmas tree with 1,000 lights. No one can see her, she's standing all alone. Somewhere she glistens, but no one can see. I don't believe I can say what had happened. All of those words that we put into play no longer matter. I should have known that then. I just know you're far away. On this Christmas day, on this Christmas day.
And they even have one album, and this is my personal favorite album of theirs, and I know some people will agree with me there. It's an album called Beethoven's Last Night, and this has nothing to do with Christmas whatsoever. Beethoven's Last Night is kind of a concept album for a musical. What they've done is they've written the story of a musical, like Phantom of the Opera or Cats or West Side Story or what have you. So they've written the story for a musical, and they've written all the songs, all the musical interludes for this musical, but they haven't actually written a script or put it on stage, like prepared it for the stage. Um, and it has some absolutely phenomenal pieces.
And in the dark he sits alone to watch his final hours bleeding, while unconcerned upon the wall the clock it ticks away the time. No need for words, for in the dark all words have long since lost their meaning. Still, when they whisper in his ear, he tries to read between the lines.
What I see in the night, what I feel in your heart, all your dreams, all your lies, can you tell them apart? See the hands on the clock, are you watching them turn? For your candle's quite low, we've been watching it burn. I don't know what I'm thinking, because all that I see is his face grinning. Mephistopheles, I need to find an answer, for this one cannot be within the words of Mephistopheles. Tell me what you think, tell me what you know. Did you really think that there would be an ever after? Do you think I'm scared? Tell me, does it show? When he's had this deafness, I can always use whispering.
Many of which are actually based on Beethoven's music, with some like definite Mozart influences thrown in there as well, because Mozart is kind of like a mentor character to Beethoven in there. And I love that album. I listen to it. I listen to everything by Trans-Siberian Orchestra year round. Now, for those of you who don't know, I actually keep a playlist. I've been working on this playlist for a decade or so. For as long as I've been collecting music, I've been putting this playlist together, and it's now I think over 800 songs, and it's basically it's my main playlist, right? It's what's playing whenever I'm listening to music, and because it's so long, what happens is basically I just play the playlist on repeat. By the time I reach the end of the playlist, going back to the beginning, it's fresh again, so I just go through it again, and I'm constantly fine tuning it. I'm either adding a song because I heard it on the radio, I'm like, hey, that's catchy, or I'm taking some songs out because I'm like, yeah, this section tends to drag, and I'm not looking forward to this section. I'm looking forward to when the section is over and gets onto the next thing. So I cut some songs out, or sometimes I'll rearrange it. Like I rearranged my classical composers because I did have them sorted alphabetically by first name. Like instead of B for Beethoven, it was L for Ludwig von Beethoven. Because that brings it more in line with my sorting method for modern composers, like Fifi Dobson was sorted under F, or Celine Dion is sorted under C, or what had Bon Jovi sorted under B, things like that. But I recently rearranged and I sorted it by last name just because there were some. It was Schubert, Franz Schubert didn't fit under F. The flow of the music just didn't fit. So I recently rearranged them all to be sorted by all the classical composers to be sorted by last name. because I like consistency. But anyway, so Trans-Siberian Orchestra is part of that playlist. Not exactly a small part either. They're one of the N's and T's. I have a lot of music in that, alphabetically by artist, N's and T's. But anyway, so because I've got them in there, like it takes me like a month or two to actually get through the entire playlist, and so it's fresh by the time it rolls around. So I listen to them year round. When it comes to the Trans-Siberian Orchestra part of my playlist, I will listen to it and I will enjoy the crap out of them. It is phenomenal music. I strongly encourage you to check them out if you haven't already. Hopefully, the samples I had before, if you got a chance to listen to them, give you the incentive to go look at them. But I'm over 20 minutes again, so I'm going to stop it there. So I will see you next time. Talk to you later.